Are we all settled and calm and collected?
Sure.
Or are we mad as heck and not going to take it anymore?
I feel bad, and I think that's a third option.
Should we give a stab at the game anyway, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you sure? All right.
Medin is rather calm right now, even after the horrible abuse you gave them. They're chilling with a nice chamomile tea. They heated it themselves.
I bet.
Which means they set up a small camp stove and cooked it that way. You thought I meant fire breath, but fire breath means no more teacup.
Oh. No.
Unless you make
And
it
also-
a really strong teacup.
They would need a very large volume of water for their draconic fire breath to not evaporate all of it.
Yeah.
The tea leaves just be a little
Indeed.
bit of ash on the wind.
So are we getting a long rest?
Yes, everyone's had a long
Are
rest. As a
we?
matter of fact, for most of you, I pressed the button if you haven't pressed it yourself already. And
I don't know if I did or not.
I did. I pressed it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And
Thank you.
hello. Welcome to Pack Tactics Season 4. This is episode 21. This is a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign where everyone is a kobold. Trust us. We wouldn't lie to you. Now, you might point over there and say, but those definitely aren't kobolds. And yes, you're right. That's the right and left forepaws of a dead dragon. They've been animated by Longcap. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And you might point and say, but that's not a kobold. And I'd say, yes, that's a ghost. That's also Longcap's fault. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Fine. And those are, hey, stop. Just stop. It's,
Those are cobots. They're like kobolds.
how did you know those were the next icons I was looking at? Because there's a lot of them.
It's the only one there's more than one of on the screen.
Right.
In any case, everyone is a kobold, has an asterisk after the word kobold. The footnote is longer than this episode will be. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We're all fine here. How are you? My name is Crash. and I'll
That's
be your
Maury.
DM for the
She's a
evening.
diplomat.
Right. That's Maury.
Tonight I'm joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Eo, and Jen. So, what happened last time?
Nobody knows.
Nobody sees, nobody knows but me.
The records
Sorry.
have been sealed by a federal judge.
We smacked the dragon around enough that we could commit diplomacy.
I think that works.
Because the dragon
I
wants to
want to
know if
say
there was a
you're wrong.
priest.
But I can't say you're wrong.
I think I made an intelligence-based persuasion roll,
You did.
Yeah.
But not against the dragon. Against
but
Cog
not against the
Chipclaw.
dragon.
Right, because we need to actually commit diplomacy, and Cog would rather commit mayhem and murder.
Well,
Dragicide.
Oh, Cog's programming would.
Yeah.
yes. Cog is given the ultimatum or prime directive or whatever. Not the prime directive of Star Trek. But imagine,
No.
if you will,
You
if
almost
Star
said
Trek
Star
went
Wars,
wrong.
huh?
I almost said Star Wars.
I'm pretty sure the prime directive of Star Wars is that a cool laser sword fight.
Cog would very much like to have a cool laser sword fight. He only has a regular sword.
Oh, and
he
the dragon
attempted to
was,
use it.
and the dragon
You go.
was interested in a cleric and a dragonborn,
The
and thought I would be
dragon
taller.
had gotten dreams that its dreams of late had proven to have relevance in the waking world. The dreams led it to the forge that you're all in that has lots of lava everywhere, which is actually, it's not technically lava, it's
Magma?
melted metal.
Ah,
It's resources for building cobots. If you have
and it
enough
brought raw
nanites,
material.
if you have enough nanites, you can use this forge to make lots more cobots. And as luck would have it, you brought Cobot Artificer with you. You brought
Who
a
has
MacGuffin
nanites.
to MacGuffin land. You use MacGuffins to
Yes.
make more MacGuffins.
Sounds right. Sounds good.
Yes. And Smedin the Red Dragon knew that there'd be something important that could happen here, and that they'd meet a dragonborn cleric of a god they didn't know. And Luke Skywalker was a bit short for a stormtrooper. Sori is a bit short for a dragonborn. She would use the word petite.
Petite. And she doesn't want to wear that stormtrooper armor anyway. It's tacky.
And canonically, the first person who referred to Sori as small got melted by draconic fire breath. That session was not recorded. It was a game show. Someone had a shopping cart, and someone was melted into ash.
Said, get out of my way, you wee kobold. And she went, I'm not wee, I'm petite, and breathed fire.
Yes.
Point blank.
Pretty much.
It helps that another pronunciation of petite is petty.
I was drinking my tea.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Sori could be a bit petty as well.
And you all sat down in front of Smedden to hear story time, to have Smedden retell stories that his mom told him when he was a wee newborn dragon baby about dragonborns, which are pretty much like fairy tales, but they were dragonborn tales. A lot of parallels to be drawn.
Dragon, babies, 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 babies.
I got that reference. I understood that reference. Anyway.
Baby Drake, oh baby Drake. No, sorry.
Red dragons are not known for their motherhood skills.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So most of the stories were, okay, one more story, and then if you don't go to bed, I will bite your heads off. Smedden did not share how many siblings he had before or after the stories were told. But that's neither.
Sometimes you gotta keep your head down.
With the freeing up of the Forge, which was the next step towards
World domination.
getting rid of... Sorry?
World domination. I mean, fair.
Well, overthrowing world domination so you can dominate it yourselves, I guess, is still world domination. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You might hand it off to somebody else when you get around to it. Maybe.
And Maury's
historically, it's world redomination.
Right. That's right. Kobold rule. Reinstating Kobold rule. Oh, right. And Maury had an existential crisis yet again because apparently the names of the gods that are followed by the various human groups are mostly similar to, and in one case, an exact match for the names of the dragons who are ruling the underworld here.
For the record,
inner world.
The white dragon, who has the exact same name as a god worshipped on the outer surface of this Forge world. Well, it's a white dragon.
Mm-hmm.
One of the D&D devs, Chris Perkins, has referred to white dragons as smart as a box of rocks.
Uh-huh.
So,
Pertinax.
Pertinax, yes.
For the record, Deza, as an archaeologist and historian, is still not convinced that the dragons haven't taken the names of existing gods.
I mean, it's possible that there are actually 4 existing gods and Pertinax, who has simply muscled his way in as, totally a god here. Or changed his own name to match the god's name.
While that is possible, the suggestion is, do you think the other really powerful chromatic dragons would watch a white dragon overthrow a literal god and then say, yeah, but we're not going to do that?
No, not...
Silly overthrow the god.
Do we have evidence that Pertinax, the white dragon, is the one, granting clerical spells?
You do not.
And responding to worship?
You do not.
Okay.
And Smedden, the red dragon, did not know anything about the gods of the outer surface. Smedden did not know there was an outer surface. Smedden thought the entire universe was the inner surface of the Forge world.
Right.
Smedden needs some horizons expanded, literally.
The horizon, there is no horizon. It just keeps curving up.
Exactly.
Until it curves
Want
back
to go
down
for a ride? No, that would be that's a terrible idea. You would get dead.
Imagine, if you will, a red dragon Smedden size crush into one of the tram cars. All of his limbs just huddled up next to each other.
Oh, right. The
Around his
tunnels are
head.
exactly the right side for the cars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a teeny little bit of gap around the edges.
If only my
Because-
polymorph could actually last longer than an hour.
So how long do
Also,
I have to
I
be
think it has
cramped in
to-
here? Well, we were here long enough for a long rest. So, what? Bye. I can't reach the button to stop.
We can wait until he's old enough to shapeshift.
No, I don't think you can. Cog can. Cog is already indescribably old. And Cog's brother, who
Crash, I have a
is more
crazy
plant now
idea.
than kobold. What's that?
Indeed, Bug. I have a question.
I have an
Do
answer.
dragons count as beasts?
No.
No.
They count as dragons.
Ah, curses. So I couldn't shift. I
Also-
couldn't polymorph a dragon into a younger dragon.
No, you cannot. You need a stronger version of polymorph.
Uh,
And then you can pull a god.
Oh, okay.
yes.
You wanted to transform Smedden into baby Smed.
Yes.
I will destroy you! Dear me! I am death!
You are adorable and need to be cuddled.
No!
What if I scritch you under your chin right here?
I am terror! I am the night! Wait, that's someone else. I have a gif for this moment.
Yes. No, stop touching me. I am fire. I am death.
That expression. Like, no! I'm pretty sure I've seen my cat make that expression.
Mm-hmm.
A little tail swish. That is definitely a cat-like dragon. And while you are leveling up, because now you're all level 7, because this is a campaign where somebody isn't saving levels to give to a god,
Right.
just pointing out that
Hobbies only
somebody thought
one.
that was a good idea.
Yes. Hobby.
Well, here's the thing. Kobots don't need to sleep. So 314 has been working all through the... Okay, night isn't really a thing surface. You've got a sun and nothing really. So
All through the long rest.
all through the long rest,
Not a
314,
creature was stirring, but the bots were.
the bots were a ton of Cobot harvesters marched like army ants off to that train track in the upper left-hand corner of the map that goes to Haven. It's
I had
being
hoped that was what
excavated.
they were going to do.
Yes.
I think you told them to. You told them to.
Y-
Or suggested it
Cesar
strongly.
made the
Oh, I did.
suggestion, and 314 thought it was a good suggestion, so they did that while also creating a Cobot messenger, which, you know those lizards that run like really fast on 2 legs and they have
Uh-huh.
a frill that comes out around their head?
Oh, I love those things. I love those
Yeah.
things.
That's what Cobot messengers look like.
That is awesome.
And they are created specifically to send long-range messages. They're couriers.
That's awesome. Do they have the frills?
Yes, the frills are used for heat dispersion.
Valid.
Any Cobot that has to overly exert itself has some means of using heat sinks or some way of cooling down. The Cobot admins, for example, submerge themselves in water, some kind of running water, usually underground, and so they're water cooled that way. 314 resembles a metallic winged kobold, and their wings are what diffuses the. So their wings will actually start to glow if they're working hard.
Plus, we're in a lava area, so they are just probably glowing all the time, and I'm not touching that.
Well,
Like,
fortunately,
literally, I'd burn my finger off.
Fortunately, they don't need to do a lot of the internal processing. They are directing the forge to do the work. So they consider them to be the central program, but the current CPU and GPU and all of that is the forge.
Which is already obviously overclocked.
Yes, but considering that the metal resources are kept in liquid form, that problem is actually a solution. Right. So a messenger Cobot has been made. Cog and Bog, who also don't really need because of their changed states, not actually be kobolds, assist with bringing resources from the White Dragon's lair that you initially found when you came to the surface.
Mhm.
Bring them down to the forge. Remember, Bog has a lot of, enslaved is the wrong word, killed and reanimated through the power of plant life is more accurate. A lot of beings that Bog has done that to, for the most part, dragons, little tiny dragons. So
Smedden's
they-
going to be concerned by this, I suspect. Perhaps we should keep them away from each other.
Smedden's too large to have that happen to Smedden. And
So Smed doesn't
remember
care?
what I said about moms not being the best parents for red dragons?
Ah,
There's a
Yeah.
Sibling rivalries are also a thing. There was a lot of infighting. So Smedden doesn't
Okay.
culturally this is normal. Well, the whole walking surrounded by plant vines that's a little weird.
Mhm.
But that it happened to a red dragon here or there, and most of them aren't red dragons.
I found out
An occasional
this
one.
has nothing to do with anything, but I found out the weirdest thing yesterday. Earwigs, like the bugs,
Yeah.
show maternal instincts.
Wow.
Like the mother hangs around the nest and takes care of the babies.
Neat.
Cool.
I mean, there's crocodiles. They make nests and they tend to the thing a bit, and
Yeah.
they don't eat the babies for a long time.
Yeah, but the earwig thing is almost unique in insects.
I mean, there's ants, but well,
Well,
Yeah,
ants and
well.
bees, but they're the ones that do that are communal.
right.
Mhm.
You realize
It's not
this
the
means
mom
the
that does it.
You realize this means there's a possibility of communal earwigs. I'm just going to drop that idea.
Okay. I'm going to not think about that.
I never said that the player's alignment wasn't somewhere in the evil spectrum.
Chaotic. Not
Anyone who has ever submitted text knows you're evil.
Uh-huh.
actually considering the copywriting that or copy editing rather that Beth has done. I think that would make Beth be lawful evil.
Yeah, pretty
Yes.
much.
Actually,
Darth
the alignment
Grammatica.
structure doesn't really transfer over to real life, but never mind about that. With all
Anyway.
of that said, when you wake up after your long rest, 314 is like, so remember when you asked me if there was anything you could do, and I was like, well, we're pretty much already self-sufficient here, so this is great.
Mhm.
Could use your help.
What you need?
Okay. What do you want us to do?
Okay, well, you know how I was sending the harvesters to clear out the railway?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
They stopped coming back.
Uh-oh.
That means there's something out there.
Yeah, and I thought, well, we've got 3 more Cobalt protectors, and I repaired those 3, so that's okay.
And
I
they
can
didn't
send
come back
those.
either.
Oh no, they're
And they
they're
didn't-
over
Sorry.
here.
Oh,
Like they're right over there, and there's 3 Cobalt protectors there, just like standing in powered down mode.
Ah.
The thing is, some of the stuff the harvesters were bringing back that wasn't like rock and rubble and stuff were bits of Cobalt protectors that I didn't send in.
Uh-oh. Maybe
Are
we should
they
come up?
very old bits, or is someone else sending protectors?
Well, keep in mind, I'm made of very old bits. But yeah, chances
Are
are
they-
they were under lots of rubble.
Dory, why don't you allow me to investigate?
I'm just going to peer down the hallway, down the thing, though, without going in.
So it looks like as the tunnel was re-excavated, additional support structures were put in on the sides, and the rails were repaired as well. And it is a straight line.
Into the darkness beyond which Sori does not have dark vision.
Yes.
Actually, can
You-
I see down that far
You can see down
without
far
entering
enough.
the tunnel?
You can see down far enough that if you made a really good roll, you'd be able to see that it's not 100% a straight line because the curvature of the planet comes into play. But otherwise, it's a straight line.
Then I am doing what I was doing.
Turning invisible.
I cast greater invisibility and I make myself fly. And then I'm heading down the tunnel.
Somebody tosses a sheet over you, so now you're a ghost.
The sheet also becomes invisible.
It would, yeah. It would.
You and everything you're wearing, yes. That's how it
Uh-huh.
works.
Does anyone get inspiration?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Unless Longcap already has it. Nope, Longcap does not
Attributes.
already have inspiration. So now Longcap has inspiration. Alright. So how long does greater invisibility last?
I have to check because that doesn't look right.
It says a minute.
Yeah.
It's a minute.
Okay.
It wears off, and you have not seen anything out of the ordinary in this.
I probably should have waited to cast that until I saw something out of the ordinary.
Well, you could do it, and you looked cool. Well, you would have looked cool if anyone could.
That's your invisible, so I can't see you. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm
The
sorry,
flying
but
lasts
one of
10
the best
minutes.
things tonight has been Utashi just going, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Responding to someone who canonically none of the characters can hear.
Details.
Right. Right.
Honestly, Utashi might be thinking things. You never know.
Yeah, like thinking
I-
out loud kind of thing, and not really aware that other people are hearing that.
I think I was talking over
Mhm.
someone too.
I can never remember. Are there 10 rounds in a minute or 6?
I think it's 10,
10.
Yeah.
because
And
rounds
then
supposed to be 6 seconds long.
I can never remember whether it's 10 rounds of 6 seconds or 6 rounds of 10 seconds.
Considering
No.
that talking is considered a free action, and we've had whole monologues done as an action, wibbly wobbly, timey
Yes.
wimey.
Yes, we
I'm not
have.
going to worry about it.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because the flight lasts for 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, you could continue flying for another 9 minutes if you really want.
Or another 4 and then come back.
I want to continue flying for another 4 minutes.
Okay. So for 3.5, roughly, those 4 minutes. Okay, you got keen mind. I will say for 3 minutes 54 seconds. The tunnel is monotonous in its construction and design. Okay, a few of the cracks are different here or there because, the wearing of countless age, but the average person is not going to say, yes, this pillar is the best of the pillars I've seen so far. I love the aesthetics of this one compared to the other.
Okay, but I am making a note to look into the history of cobalt mining.
A thing as old as kobolds themselves. I love this.
Well, because the distance you place the supports apart makes a difference. How the supports are constructed makes a difference. What the supports look like makes a difference. It's the cobalt harvesters at this point have to be so efficient that they're doing this they're doing this with a minimum of materials and at the maximum different distance they can reasonably put supports. And I would love to find out how they arrived at that conclusion.
I told them what to do. If there's a cave in, I give them new direction.
Math.
Pretty much.
She's a historian. She thinks it's neat.
I can show you the schematics. I just need to print them. You start hearing the dot matrix sound of a wide sheet of paper starts sliding out of 314's mouth. It has
We
the
love
little
314.
bits on the side you can tear off.
That's the best part.
Yes, that's the best part. Those are the best
It was
parts.
a sad, sad day when Jiffy Lube upgraded all of their printers for the
Mhm. So, 4 minutes worth. Almost.
Well, no. 3 minutes and 54 seconds worth.
Right.
At 3 minutes and 55 seconds, give or take a millisecond, and Keen Mind only has so much act, you start to see small bits of rubble. Wait, no, that's not rubble. Small bits of cobots.
Harvesters.
Harvesters. Actually, that looks like a sword arm blade. So that's part of a protector. The rest of the cobot isn't there, but the sword arm thing is.
Okay.
The tunnel continues onward, but it doesn't look really excavated so much as stuff got shoved out of the way. And there's a lot of scrapes on the floor, ceiling, and walls. Something just small enough to fit in this tunnel went further down the tunnel.
Fascinating. Where do the scrapes start?
They don't start where the cobots stop. It starts maybe 20-ish feet further back. So it looks like it went down the cleared tunnel away, but then it went back the other way. The scrapes
Wishing
and
I had-
scratches also... I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You're giving me more information. Please do.
The scrapes and scratches also do not appear to be like all parallel lines, like it was someone trying to take a square peg and push it down a round hole, getting 4
Right. This is
straight lines.
it's organic.
It's more organic in nature. Although
Okay.
organic in creating that many scratches and scrapes everywhere, organic for a certain value of organic.
Mm. And the protectors didn't go down the tunnel.
Parts of them did a little.
Our protectors didn't go down the tunnel.
No, 314 decided that they had 3 protectors they were going to keep near them to do some protecting.
Kind of valid.
Okay. And so did 314 make new protectors to come
Not-
down here?
Not yet. That takes a bit more time, and it's currently using the Forge's facilities to... It was making a ton of harvesters. They stopped doing that when the harvesters stopped coming back down the tunnel for actions.
Okay.
Most of the processing right now is being used to make a cobot factory, which will increase the Forge's output.
That tracks.
Factories, by the way, look like mechanical dragons.
Or
I
Lay
am-
mechanical eggs.
Smedden is baffled, possibly creeped out.
Definitely both of those.
I am really wishing I hadn't spent that spell slot.
Come back,
'Cause I
take
only-
another long rest, and then we can start over again.
Yeah, I was going to
Save
say
skimmings.
I only get 2 of them. So
Mhm.
Well, you're a warlock. You could probably take a short rest.
When does that one require a long rest, or can you do that one with a short rest?
Warlocks return spells on a short rest.
All spells?
No,
Awesome.
only warlock slots.
Ah,
Their packed slots come back on a short rest. So if you're a warlock and another spellcaster, you only get your packed ones back on a short rest, but warlocks do recharge their packed ones always.
oh, I'd forgotten about that. Okay, I'm going to take a short rest then.
come back and take a short rest.
I'm just going to do it here.
Oh, why not?
Dazar
How many
sits
hours
down
is
among
short?
the rubble, the corpses of untold kobots, reads a book.
Meditates for reads a book for 10 minutes.
How long is a
Dazal
short
goes
rest?
into her ring to it's the Matrix scene with guns, lots of guns, but instead it's books, lots of books. And which one do I want this evening?
Oh, I'm sure I've got one packed into my jacket, and a short rest is 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I still like the
Dang,
headcanon.
warlocks are overpowered. Okay,
had-
warlock.
I
Hey,
am
warlock
glad
levels.
that you reminded me of that, EO, because I had this entire game, I had entirely forgotten that.
Well, I think the current playtesting for 1D&D, which they're insisting will be 5e and fully backwards compatible with 5e, don't call it 6th edition, whatever. They're taking away as much stuff you get from short rest as possible.
Well, then they're going to have to give warlocks more spell slots.
Can't.
Anyway.
Also, I'm really thinking of not playing D&D for my next few campaigns.
That's fair.
I'll suck you into GURPS. And of course, you like Cypher.
Houdini.
Wait, what were they doing with short rests in 1D&D and warlocks?
They're taking away warlock abilities. I have not read it. I listened to other people summarize it. So take what I'm saying, understanding that it's a game of telephone. They're taking away the ability of warlocks to get their spell slots back with a short rest. They're nerfing that part of warlocks. There is, I think, a subclass of rogue or monk, I forget which, that is actually gaining things they can do with short rests. But everyone else who benefits with extra things on a short rest that get refurbished or replenished, they're getting rid of a lot of that. It's going to be long rest or nothing for
Ouch.
which
I
be
I
fair, in
take
this
back what I
campaign-
said, by the way.
about
To be
which
fair, in this campaign, I thought you were done, so I was continuing. Please continue.
I've forgotten what I was going to say next. Go ahead.
Okay. I take back what I said. I am going to come back
And have your short rest back here.
and have my short rest back here.
So you can fill us all in so we don't go after you.
I'm going to fill you all in, and then I'm going to bring you with me.
Oh, okay.
Hypothetically,
Tell him
while
to
you
go
are
up.
telling everyone what you saw, if you are verbose enough, it can take 10 minutes and therefore count as a short rest.
Well, I found out that a short rest takes an hour. So,
Oh.
If you're very
Wow.
verbose,
It's
yes.
Mhm.
the first 50 minutes, are you talking about the structure of the pillars and how far apart they are and how ingenious it is? And then you have a conversation back and forth with 314 about why things are designed the way they are, and it's fascinating to you. Meanwhile, everyone else is like, but what did you see past that?
And I will be right back.
That's all right. I figure that getting all of our stuff together and deciding who's going and which NPCs are staying is going to take, like the rest of the hour anyway.
Well, Pog and Bog are not here canonically right now. They are in the process of overseeing the transport of supplies.
Oh, that was a question that I had. We found that young white dragon with a bunch of supplies that were kind of useful as raw material, if I recall correctly.
Smedden will let you know that because of how this world is, like, that is the treasure that dragons can hoard.
Oh,
Oh.
That's what they find when they go looking for things, so that's what they hoard. And one can infer without needing to make very high rolls that if this world is created artificially, you're not going to find a a ton of other things. The easy to acquire loot, like they're not going to find piles of coins in the factories that they raided. They found circuitry in the factories they raided. They found wire in the factories they found gears, and they were shiny, so they grabbed them.
So it might just be a regular horde, and the White Dragon might not have been having similar dreams.
Correct.
Okay, maybe.
Also, Smedden would scoff at the idea of a white dragon having any, but also red dragon. I don't mean a stereotype, but in this case, Smedden is
Okay.
Arrogant and doesn't like white dragons?
arrogant and doesn't like other dragons.
Oh, so
Including
any
other
other
red
dragons.
dragons. Yes. Now, if it's a matter of red dragons compared to other colors dragons, yes, red is the best. But if you are comparing red dragons to other red dragons are quite selfish. They are going to value themselves over other red dragons. If you see a bunch of dragons working together, it's because the biggest one, will slaughter the rest of them if they don't work together.
That's fair.
That goes back to the mama dragons and the baby dragons that won't go to sleep.
If it wasn't for biological hardwiring that encouraged dragons to reproduce for some strange reason they can't understand, why did I even have you? Okay,
Yeah.
when you make that face, you are very cute. I admit that particular face is very cute. Okay, I think I start to understand now. Now go to sleep! Monty doesn't understand any of these problems. He just collects kobolds.
Yeah, it does.
And that is Midge, little dragonling being pet. A dragonling with feathered wings.
Mhm.
So I don't know exactly what kind of dragon, but it is enjoying the head pat.
Mhm.
Well, Maury's packing up to go with you. 314 and the other kobots are staying behind.
Sorry, we'll ask Smedden if he can shapeshift yet.
Can I what now?
Turn into, like, a kobold?
Wait.
How would I do
Oh my
that?
goodness. Sorry.
Yes?
Smedden, have you ever seen a creature that wasn't a dragon?
I've eaten a bunch of them, yes.
An intelligent creature?
No.
Dragons often shapeshift to fit into other intelligent cultures for the purpose of reconnaissance or occasionally reproduction.
Hang out, presumably.
That makes very little sense and in some cases is quite disgusting.
What, just hanging out?
What would happen if you tried to shapeshift to look like us?
I would have a hard
Would you
time
please
flying.
try? That's true.
Look like a dragonborn? But you should probably look like a kobold. Kobolds have tails.
Would
There
you
would be the
please
balance.
try to take on? Would you please try to take on a form that looks like us, just to satisfy our curiosity?
Smedden closes their eyes, starts to look like they're concentrating hard, and then opens one eye, has a knowing look appear on their face, and they move over out of the lava. And then they go back to like hunching up, they're scrunching up their face and going. Their head starts to shake a little bit from the concentration. Their front claws sort of curl up into fists, and nothing happens.
Okay, thank you for trying. I understand that it's a very strange concept.
I would have laughed so hard if Sori had chosen that exact moment to try casting polymorph.
She would only do it if she thought it would work because it uses up a spell slot and she needs a long rest to refuel them.
Long
25 Arcana.
I'm sorry? You rolled a 25 Arcana check. What do you want to know?
How old dragons have to be to shapeshift?
That's a question.
I would argue that Arcana is probably the wrong skill to roll to know that for certain. However, because you chose Arcana, your best guess is because dragons can shapeshift naturally, they're natural shapeshifters when they reach a certain age. If Smedden has no knowledge of how to do this and cannot when even trying, it is likely it is because they are not yet old enough to have this. They are probably too young.
What is the appropriate thing to roll?
That is an excellent question. DM needs to take a look at the skill list.
I would feel pretty ridiculous rolling animal handling.
I would have thought nature would be the wrong skill to know things about dragons since they're not really.
I would say the best thing to roll would still be intelligence based. I would say because you'd have to look at the
History?
stories of dragons.
Which makes sense. The kinds of dragons that are doing it.
And Dazog got an 18 on a history skill check. I mean, it's not a 25.
But we've reached Dezaz's wheelhouse with history.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be looking for at least an adult dragon. The stories start to get a little muddled with whether or not adult dragons can shapeshift. It's possible because some stories are a bit more inflated, or maybe some adult dragons just don't shapeshift on purpose and say what are you talking about because, or maybe they just lie about not, whatever. Depending on your sources, Dazog could probably go into a long lecture about conflicting and unreliable sources. But adult
I'm not
dragons
going
are
to.
where you but adult dragons are where you start seeing that happen. It is quite possible that Smedden is not a full adult yet. They might only be a young red dragon.
Okay.
Also, you were all trouncing Smedden pretty handily.
Yeah. Well, I think it was about even on. Sven certainly took out a lot of our
Of your CR2
fodder.
cannon fodder, yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You at the time were all CR6, which Smedden
Also, Sori was
still
hiding behind a
is much higher.
table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Sori was hiding behind a table
Okay.
for a certain value.
So
of time.
Smedden probably can't come with us.
Did we take a rest at some point?
Yes,
Yes.
when you
Yeah.
leveled up, you had a
We
long rest.
we had a long rest when we leveled up, and I've had a short rest since then.
Okay.
Yeah, your character should not have any expended spell slots. Yeah,
One.
looks like
I
you're
should have one expended spell slot
okay.
because I don't think the skeletal hands should just wander around on their own.
I mean, your last act under
Fair.
your last
Yeah.
act for them under your control could be take a long walk off of a short pier into lava, and then they wouldn't be wandering. But
But they want to
Would
keep
it
the
be
hands
lot-
around.
sometimes you need a hand.
Or two.
Sometimes you don't.
And you need to direct them, not delegate, because the right hand does not always know what the left is doing. With that laughter,
Okay.
the DM will give himself a point of inspiration.
We've been
So-
playing for about an hour. Do you want to take a break before we head down the tunnel?
Yep.
Sounds like a plan. I'm going to pause the recording.
Okay.
And we're back. And we are all cognizant of our ability to speak. None of us are wordsing up our mix at all. Wait.
Yep, that.
Anyway,
We're here. We're just not all there.
Right.
because we're all here.
And there's a tunnel. Right. And there's
There is
the
a
tunnel.
There is a long tunnel. It is a significantly long tunnel. Now, 314 has looked into the records of the Forge a bit more. And most Cobot records are stored in Cobots because it's easy to transfer from one Cobot to the next. And when you have a near photographic memory, you don't really need to offload a ton of storage to anything other than a Cobot. Seems like a waste of effort to do so. The closer they get to that is offloading information to a Cobot messenger to send a message from point A to point B. Those Cobot messengers don't tend to have a lot of processing. Their processing power is mostly built into the Cobot equivalent of it, and make legs go fast. That too. But what they can find in the Forge is this rail line doesn't really, like, this takes you to a destination. That destination doesn't have additional rail lines going from it. This is a one-way thing. Well, not one way, because you can come back through it. But apparently that leads to the R&D facility,
Ooh.
which was kept far enough away from the Forge in case something went wrong.
I see we're playing on gnome rules.
Gnome rules?
Actually, we're not playing on gnome rules because the gnomes would put the R&D facility next to the manufacturing.
Look, as soon as you have the prototype, you want to spend as little time as possible transporting it. You want to start mass production immediately before you find inherent flaws in the... Wait. Oh, no. Anyway, that's only some gnomes.
Right.
The Gear Grinder Brewery had multiple outbuildings, specifically for reasons. One of them turned into a rocket
Right.
with an ex-boyfriend
But
inside.
only one. And that's to the point.
Only one. It was intentional, and there was an ex-boyfriend inside, yes.
Yep, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The ex-boyfriend did not find that to be what they wanted out of the situation, but they had also tried to do industrial sabotage and espionage. So the proprietor of the Gear Grinder Brewery was not that concerned about what they want.
Fair.
In any event,
In any event,
There's a tunnel.
you get on the rails, or next to the rails, or in between the rails, or however you choose to walk down this passage.
We have not
I'm
yet
trying
put
to-
this.
I'm trying to
You-
move my character and it won't move.
oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this happens. I'm using
Oh,
Chrome,
let's-
so it shouldn't happen, but it's doing it.
Take a look
Arrow
at
keys?
Itachi ownership. Yeah, you're set as owner.
Mm-hmm.
So
Arrow
if
keys?
you click on,
Wait, it's running into a wall. You have to go across the bridge.
Oh, okay. And it just.
well,
went into the
I'm
wall
going
again.
to I'm going to change the map in a little bit.
That's
So you don't need
fine.
to worry about walking over to the.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine. I just was trying to sort out what I was doing wrong.
It is quite all right. We'll worry about falling into the lava later. Actually, yes.
I
it
mean, what-
does.
What I'm really going to worry about is if we're
That's-
going to make this campaign go off the rails.
That's all the campaigns.
True.
Yes, but you
But
seem to have put us
if you
on
have
rails.
Cobalt.
Even when
I
you're
mean, if you
on
have
the
Cobalt,
rails,
you have going off the rails, yeah.
some of the worst times, not worst, that's the wrong word. Some of the most off the rail moments have been when you were on a train track.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's happened multiple times.
Loading,
That's
loading,
without the
loading.
purple worm coming after the train. But never mind about that. That also happened.
Mhm.
So you arrive at the end of the track. There is a smashed train car there. Smashed is a good word to use. It looks like it's been peeled apart. There are a few crushed bones lying around. Your best guess is that they're kobold. But there's a lot of smashy smash.
Nerds, if we touch those bones, they are going to disintegrate.
And you'd be surprised. Bones are actually fairly stable.
What's this about bones?
There's what appear to be smashed kobold bones around the ripped open train car.
We got past the part where there were bits of Cobot and got to a train car, I assume.
The train car is at the other end of the track. It never left its final destination, which would make it the final. Anyway,
But not the
Um,
final frontier.
when
No, we
Dazos,
went there already.
Yes.
that's the entire campaign, yes. That's why the byline in the logo is Invacio Depertia. I pronounced that wrong. Deperita.
Also,
In
why it's
vacuum
also why
travel?
Spock can hear out of his forehead. He has 3 ears: his left ear, his right ear, and the final
And
front
the
ear.
final frontier, yeah.
And for some reason, he has very strong opinions on how to raise children.
Oh.
Only a certain percentage of the population will get that joke.
I was laughing through the thing Ellie said, so I don't know what you said, but that's okay.
I made a Dr. Spock reference.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. There is also what appears to be a large metal doorway. I want to say large metal door. That would imply that there is any way that it could open and close. There are what appear to have once been sheets of metal. They have been pried outward. So if there was any mechanism to close them, that mechanism is probably not powerful enough.
They got something in there busted out.
Would you like to go in?
In the
Strong
train
word.
car or in the tunnel? What are we looking at?
Through the
specifically?
busted door. It's the only
Through the
way to
busted
proceed
door?
without heading back the other way.
Okay.
I would like to see what's on the other side.
Okay. I'm just
Are you
thinking
going to
of
turn
a different
invisible and-
game that was not recorded, that Eric was DMing, where Ellie
Yeah.
opened a door, Eric described what was on the other side, and Ellie closed the door.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
door cannot be closed, but you can decide to turn around and go back at any point.
Mhm.
So you
I-
can-
It's a sorry.
I'm seeing I'm seeing about 270 feet farther than anybody else is.
Oh, right. Mhm.
So
Oh, here we go.
well, good news. This room is not that long.
Wow.
So
Okay.
also,
good news, everybody.
your dark vision is not necessary here because there's multiple glowing panels.
Mhm.
Neat.
Yes, if
Sorry,
it's
is
glowing
looking up.
in this map, it is glowing so far as you are concerned. The difference
Cool.
is the door that your characters have just walked through. Don't imagine it's a closed door like the graphic. Imagine that it is a gaping wound in the side of the wall.
Woo.
Okay. All right.
Sorry would like to look up.
You see ceiling.
The ceiling is not the kind of ceiling that has holes in it for horrible monsters to drop out and eat poor little petite dragonborn.
There is an air duct that looks just large enough for xenomorphs to crawl through. No, there is not. Matter of fact, the ventilation ducts appear to all be very small. Like tiniest Kep could crawl through that. Got the vents off of that, but nothing
Smallest
kobold
Kep.
sized. That too.
Smallest cat.
But nothing regular kobold sized would be able to squeeze through the vent. Almost as if somebody learned from mistakes. Possibly somebody else's mistakes. They took notes when investigating the disaster site.
So Deza has gone up to the table in the middle of the room that looks like it has something nice and creepy on it.
Yes, there are 2 robotic arms. Now, the map graphic shows a plant, because I'm using maps I did not make myself. Therefore, it's showing a plant. You do not see a plant on there. You see tiny bits of crystal.
Wrong game. I am not going to ask the question I was about to ask.
Why not?
Because Deza has never met Tex.
That's a good reason. Huh?
Instead, I'm
love
going to
drawing parallels between campaigns. But please continue.
Yes.
I am going to continue. I am going not continue. I am going to examine the crystals and the arms.
Imagine, if you will, a giant tosses a glitter bomb onto the table. That is what you see the aftermath. The glitter shards do not appear to be uniform in their size or shape, although they're all small enough that you'd be able to reach out and pick up a handful of them like pebbles. They are not just on the table, they are also on the ground around it. But there's a significant amount on the table. And you notice, upon closer inspection, that the table, while it appears to be made of a solid rectangular prism worth of some type of metal alloy or composite, well, something very sturdy. It's not meant to be hollow, but it is significantly dented in anyway. Like something very large smashed into the middle of it, or was sitting on top of it for some period of time.
Okay, so like it's smashed in like the visual center, looking down on it.
Yes, but it didn't smash open. It appears to be a solid brick of whatever this is.
Right. I gotcha. I'm just trying to place where the dent is.
Now, there are several glowing cylinders around you. They are still glowing. They do have lights that were apparently originally designed to diffuse through the liquid that's in them, but they are cracked, so the light is diffusing through what's left of the glass that was keeping the liquid in. There's dried, crusty bits of whatever the liquid was around each of those cylinders, in a pattern not unlike the pattern of bluish glow that you see on the ground. Just imagine that it's not
Okay. Okay.
The animation is a really cool effect. However,
Are the other glowing cylinder containery things also cracked, or just the ones
Yes.
up on the platform?
well, some of them appear more smashed than others. It doesn't look like someone was systematically going, and I'll break you, and you, and I'll break you. This one won't be wet, and this one won't be wet, and this one won't be wet. We do not live in a rainforest. But it looks like there was some kind of tragic accident. And Sori has gone over to a bunch of structures that appear to have plant life. The plant life is dead.
So it's it's plant death here,
Yes.
not plant
But
life.
They did have plant life in them. The plant life does seem to be spilling out of the more cubic, like rectangular prism-ish. Not cube because they're stretched out. Containers. It looks like it did continue to grow after a while, after the glass was broken, but without getting nutrients renewed, they eventually withered.
Thanks.
And
Sorry.
came up to look at the shinies.
As soon as I described the crystal shards as glitter, I knew that Itachi would be up on that
that's
platform
like
looking
that's
at
the
all the
Chippewa
shinies.
clan, you know? They're
Yes.
into that. Yep. I'm just
Yes.
looking at them.
There's lots of glitter. You can fill your pockets with them if you want to. All the shiny math rocks, well, not math, but rocks,
Uh-huh.
and shiny.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up some of those.
Okay.
Stick them in pockets. Ready.
I really like that Ellie has figured out how to measure things out in Foundry and then have the character follow the trail you've measured.
Mhm.
That amuses me way more than it should. Mori comes up and stands next to Atashi and picks up one of the crystals at it in her hand. What were they doing here?
I don't know. These are really pretty, though, aren't they? They kind of sparkle. Yeah.
Yes, if you took
My-
them to a jeweler, they could cut them a certain way. That
I don't know. My clan tends to like shiny things. Kind of inherent for us to pick them up.
plenty of humans who like shiny things too.
Oh, good.
But what even is this stuff? I mean, this isn't diamond or sapphire or it's not even quartz.
I don't know. They're pretty, though.
So I'm seeing various characters move around on the map. Longkep, what are you doing?
Should I roll
And the cur-
investigation?
You wish? It occurs to me that I did not move righty and lefty on, so I am working.
5.
You have, with a 5, you have discovered that this room is shiny.
Longcap is unfortunately kind of out of their element here.
There's not enough dead stuff.
Yeah, there's dead
Well, there's
plants,
dead plants.
but that's not really specifically in Longkep's.
Oh, right.
That thing up at the top, it looks like a glassed-in office or something.
At one point it may have been, but everything in there is
Longcap.
completely smashed.
Longcap goes over here and starts opening boxes.
You find a cat. No,
Or maybe
That-
you
that would
don't.
be
It's
very
hard to
fair.
tell.
you find
Sure.
you do and do not find Schrodinger's cat. But if you do find it, I have both good and bad news for you. Although you're a necromancer, so it could still be good news either way.
Yeah, I was
Indeed.
going to say.
Just remember, a necromancer is a cleric who would not give up,
Mhm.
Yep.
or a cleric who took a shortcut.
No, then I would be using wisdom. I do not desire to be using wisdom as my spellcasting stat. Frequently, I desire to use wisdom in general, but I do not want to use it as my spellcasting stat. It is lower than my int.
You made the anti-chroma. Actually, wait, no, because wisdom is the low stat, so you didn't make an anti. A chroma 2, electric boogaloo. Or
No,
necrotic
no, I
boogaloo.
did not.
No.
Longcap has wisdom. It's just not that
Not as high.
high.
Not
Okay.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Their
The
wisdom
box-
is 12. That's okay.
Is there anything interesting in the box?
There's some of the boxes have what are very obviously cobot parts in them. They don't look exactly like the cobot that you've seen, but they're similar enough that the assumption is maybe this is some type of cobot prototype. Maybe it didn't pan out. Maybe it was going to be the next version. Who knows? Some boxes have bits of crystal in them. One box has a very large chunk of crystal in it. It's an incredibly heavy box. One box has a crystal skull and a fedora in it.
Mhm.
That is not true.
But is it a human skull or a kobold skull?
That was a joke.
Excuse me,
It is-
that's mine.
You know what? I will say that yes, the fedora is in there.
There's a skull.
Ash is deciding no, just a large chunk of crystal.
A large chunk of crystal and a
Wow.
fedora.
Longcap places the fedora gently on the large chunk of crystal and comes out to show the crystal to Deza.
The crystal may or may not
These
have
were
facets
together.
in just the right places
Sorry?
to look like two eyes.
These were together. Is either one of them magical, do you think?
I cast detect magic.
There's a lot of magic in here. The crystal itself has a lot of magic residue, but it's not inherently magic in the same
I
way
relay this
that,
to
sorry.
I relay this to Longcap.
It's the crystal chunk is not magical in the same way that an arcane focus is not magic. An arcane focus lets you focus your magic, but it isn't itself a magic item. This crystal may have been some sort of magic focus, or may have been something that was manipulated by magic a lot, but in and of itself it is not magic. Now there's other bits and bobs throughout the room that are also glowing to reveal that there is magic involved in them, but they appear to mostly be structural elements. Oh, and that hulking thing over there in the that also appears.
What?
Hulking
Well-
thing in the corner.
Yeah,
Which corner?
right over here.
Oh, that one. Okay.
The thing that just
what is
appeared, that's a
that?
problem.
Yeah. What is
Now
it?
that's the right general shape of what it is, but imagine, if you will, that it's covered in crystal and appears to have large parts of it made of metal and rock.
And it
happened
just
to
came
you?
out.
Is it also
Yes.
made of plant?
There's bits of plant on it, but not as much as the image will let you think it is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
This is a very salient question.
As long as it's not a
Here's the
soylent
big-
question. There's only a little bit of green.
Mhm.
So it just kind of
Oh, no.
showed up just now.
It was hiding behind the plant growth area. There was apparently a caved in part behind the wall where the metal had been bent back up. And pour is the wrong verb to use, but it does an okay job of describing the motion in which it comes out of the hole in the wall, which was not big enough for it to come through. It makes the hole larger as it comes through, and it rolls over towards the doorway.
Is it leaving?
It gets partway into the doorway and
Okay. Bye.
Concern.
Should we follow that?
it has
Are we
stopped in the
supposed to?
doorway.
It doesn't want us to leave. Maybe it needs friends. I mean, it's not hurting us.
Yet.
Well, we'll get to that if that happens. But right now, I don't know.
Hasn't made a hostile action yet.
Well, give me a moment here.
Mhm.
Okay, that is the information I want.
Is it after righty and lefty?
Well, they're right there by the door.
Yeah.
That is a 19 hit righty. That does hit. That is 24 points of
Oh.
damage. Righty is down.
Huh? Are we in initiative?
About to be.
About
I think
to
we
be.
are now.
I think we are now. Mhm.
Also,
So we have to wait for Crash to put us in combat first.
You are now in combat. You should be able to hit the button to roll for initiative.
Okay. I have rolled my
Okay.
initiative, by the way.
What was it?
I'm trying to find the
It was
button
a-
for initiative.
It's
Sorry,
just
go
above
ahead.
your unspeakable horror limbs. It's 20.
Okay.
So that-
I can manually add it, but also if you roll for initiative, it should add it up. Like for Long Kept, it now says
Right.
Where's
I-
he in? Oh,
Let
there.
me try to find it.
There it is.
Wait. For Long Kept, it says
Attributes?
24
Oh,
initiative.
there it is. There
Yes.
it is.
And you just click the word initiative and that pops up the.
Okay, I found it. I got a 5, which is good for a cleric, I think.
Crash, are you 100% sure? Because when it's where it says Long Kept rolls for initiative, that's a 20. 24 is
He
the
said
damage to the
20.
unspeakable horror.
FOR. He said FOR.
Oh, okay.
Goes last ish so far. Maury?
Oh, I got an 8. I didn't know I had an 8. Right. Oh.
And Maury gets
Oh,
a
no
1.
worry.
Oh, no.
It's okay, everyone. The cleric's going last. Wait, there's 3 clerics. One of the clerics.
They're
is
all going last.
They're all going last.
Yeah.
No, actually, not quite, because the unspeakable horror got a 5.
It's
Hmm.
going in the middle of the clerics.
Oh, no.
No, I don't want it in the middle of us.
Imagine, if you will, there's a line of clerics, and this unspeakable horror just sort of tries to edge in between them and stand there awkwardly.
No!
It cuts in line in front of Maury at the Starbucks.
Oh, no.
Rude.
Okay. First up is going to be Lefty, followed by Longkep and Deza. Righty would be next, but Righty's at 0 hit point. Then Sori, then Utashi, then the Unspeakable Horror, which it's the elephant in the room.
Hmm.
Don't talk about it. Be
I don't think it's an elephant.
If you squint your eyes and look the other direction, occasionally it makes a sound that is not unlike. Okay, it's totally unlike an elephant. Never mind. This is followed by Maury taking it. So Lefty goes first. So Longkep, what does Lefty do?
Lefty does the one thing that it is good at.
Play the
It is
xylophone?
going. Well, I was going to say, try to shove its claws into the anime, but I suppose it might be good at 2 things.
It may also be working on its dance for spooky, scary skeletons, but it's not there yet. It was born yesterday. So Lefty is going to make an attack. I'm going to look like a short sword attack with me. It doesn't hit.
Let me
rather, it
check.
does,
I
but
mean,
it's ineffectual.
that's not going to hit either way, but let me check to see if my skeletons are any better at to hit.
What's their
No,
bonus
no,
to
they
hit?
are not. They are better at damage, but they are not better at hitting.
Okay. So next up is a tie. We've got Longkep and Deza sharing the initiative 20.
Longcap, by all means.
Longcap, Longcap tries to open their character sheet. Yeah, that's not what I meant to do. That is not what I meant to do. How do I get rid of it?
You cast mirror image. I'll fix it. There we go.
I mean, I guess it could look like a shadowy Longcap, but I don't think we need more Longcap.
Longcap
Why
got
can't I create a
longer.
folder? I was trying to figure out how to make a
shadowy spirit.
Okay,
I got you covered. You want a shadowy spirit? Here.
but I can't move it. That's why I'm trying to create an actor, because then I could move
here.
it probably.
Configure ownership, EO, owner. Save changes. So the stats are probably
Okay.
all wrong, but it's an icon you can move.
And it is a despair spirit, though I don't think this thing will actually want to run away. And it is going to use its multi-attack ability. Note that I cast at 4th level, which means that it gets to it uses my spell attack modifier, so maybe I'll roll spell attacks.
And you do have the icons for dice in the chat box. So
Here it is. Ghost. Oh, that's a ghost. Is this the ghost?
That is
Okay, yep, the ghost is using the ghost stats, so I should not roll those because those are different stats. I will roll. Here's my sheet.
Well, what are you rolling? What die and what bonus?
I am rolling its multi-attack, which is using my spell attack bonus, and I can't find a thing to roll my spell attack bonus.
Okay, so in Foundry, underneath the chat box, there's a bunch of dice icons.
Yeah, I was trying to make it roll properly, though.
So if you click the icon for D20, and then you click the plus icon underneath that.
And I can't find my spell attack bonus. That is the problem.
Oh, okay.
Let me take a look. Pop that up larger so I can get better with my age eyes.
Amen.
Plus 6.
Yeah.
You found it faster than the rest of it. Okay.
Good job.
So, like, if I click D20, and I click the plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
I know how to make it work. I just don't know it wasn't on my sheet.
So that's a 21. A 21 is gonna hit. And a 15 will also hit.
All right, then I get to roll both of those, and that's going to be 2d12 plus 6.
And I'm gonna need to make a wisdom saving throw.
No, I think. No.
Did you just roll 30 damage?
Yes.
That's right. You're all level 7 now.
Yep.
Now keep in mind, this is still a higher CR than any of you should be able to do easily. But also, you just did 30 damage with one spell. And it can hit again next turn.
And that's cold death. No saves involved because this is not a ghost, it is a shadow spawn.
Okay.
And I picked the shadow spawn because it has slightly more hit points than the undead.
There we go.
Specifically, it has 50.
Okay, I'm changing the ghost hit points to 50. We will pretend the ghost is a shadow spawn. It's all good. Okay. I believe we're still at initiative 20 because Deza has a thing.
Deza does have a thing Deza can do. 20 feet behind the door, Deza casts Sickening Radiance.
Does it have to be a spot you can...
Nope. It's a point I choose within range.
What is the area of effect, diameter, or radius of Sickening?
It's a 30-foot radius.
That is incredibly convenient.
Isn't it?
Just a bit. Just a tad bit convenient. I like this. Also, I'm trying to find a way to draw on the map. There we go. The 30-foot radius?
Yes.
Round after. Right. So it's not going to stay here. Don't worry.
Wait, what's moving?
I'm trying to make sure this circle has a 30-foot radius. And I'm doing it. But then I'm going to move it after I measure. I click on this. Say, I can. Well, never mind. I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to exit. All right. So, Sickening Radiance, what are we doing?
The Sickening Radiance has no effect now.
When it runs away into it, right?
When it starts
Yeah.
its turn in the radius,
It's not going to
The
have
effect
then
happens.
it takes effect.
Okay.
So if it uses a reaction now to step out of it, it does not have
have
a
to-
reaction it can use.
Okay. And I am also using my bonus action to fly.
You fly up 3 feet and there's a ceiling.
A
This is
kobold
allowed for
sized thing.
kobolds.
Poor Maury, she's having to stoop, isn't she?
Well, especially
like,
on
right
the
up
raised
against the ceiling.
platform.
She had to go down and sort of, not quite hands and knees, huh?
My goal is to be able to go wherever I want to in the room without
Maury's
having
sitting
to worry
crisscross
about raised
applesauce.
platforms and railings.
Your fly speed is
Valid.
faster than your run speed, right?
No, they're the same.
But you are more maneuverable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Also,
While I'm
you can
flying,
fly.
I can ignore the railing and the raised platform and whatever. I
You
probably
are-
can't ignore the pillars.
No, the pillars are a bit more difficult to ignore. But you have adopted the Cavill school of battlefield,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. Mhm.
with the exception of you actually did want to be.
Did not get
brought
stuck up there
Cavill
by
in.
accident.
If we brought Cavill here right now, Cavill would have words, and
Mhm.
among them would be a desire to not.
Hmm.
Also, a lot of questions.
What the criff is this?
Okay, so Deza,
Yes. I'm not actually taking that path. It just won't let me cross the walls.
okay, I was gonna say that does invoke an attack of opportunity from the unspeakable monstrosity and also several allies.
No, I'm going over the railing. Foundry just won't let me go through the walls.
So that means we cannot have Utashi have an opportunity attack to boop you on your snoot.
It's true. It's true. I am still not within range.
Right.
Anyway, that's my turn.
Okay.
Okay.
Action, bonus action, movement.
Righty crumbles I would say underfoot, but that's not really a foot. Is it an appendage? Is it just part of the torso? This thing is a mishmash. Sorry.
Mhm.
Sori is going to do her standard shtick of where is that? That's a Channel Divinity, isn't it? The one where she turns herself into a Channel Divinity, invoke duplicity. Do I have to click that?
So you
Yes,
want
I'll
another
use you.
story.
Yes, another story, please. Another story that will appear at its appropriate range. Come on, where are you, silly thing?
Beth picks
Give me-
up a ceramic story and smashes her to the ground. Another!
The illusion appears within 30 feet of you. That would be, 30 feet away from her and closer to the horror. Because you can cast spells as the illusion. So,
Closer
Yes,
to within
excellent.
touching distance, or closer to as in, I'm here for moral support. Actually, I'm not really here for
Nor this,
really good.
I'm just making sure that the thing I made works. Okay, good.
probably a
someone's
reasonable
hacking
place.
Foundry.
I don't know where it went though. It should be somewhere. Oh, there it is. Good. Can
Did you
someone
make a character named Shadow Spawn somewhere on the map?
Yeah,
yes,
see,
and
it's
I'm
purple.
trying to get rid of the ghost.
Just cover it up. Just cover the go.
Oh, I can fix that.
on.
Boop.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that works. Actually, I'm going to move the placement of where the alternate story appeared, if that's all right. To
Well, you're the one who wants it to appear, so you're the one who tells it where to be.
yeah, all right, let me just double check how to make the
And I
place.
think I have to roll its initiative. Well, I was going to say I have to roll its initiative and then figure out how to set its initiative
It
to
has
mine.
initiative 20.
but it
just did it.
It hit the same initiative as mine.
But I don't know
I just-
how it's determining the initiative order. Like D&D Beyond will start off. Well, I think I know what it's doing. D&D Beyond, if you have a tie, it sorts them alphabetically.
Oh.
Foundry, if there's ties, it sorts them in order of when you rolled. Longcat rolled the first 20. Deza rolled the second 20. Shadowspawn rolled the third 20. That's the order they're being. Which is neither here nor there because technically they're all going at the exact same time.
Right, what was I doing? All right. Okay, so that's that. There's my action. And I'm not sure I have any bonus actions that. Yeah,
Spiritual
that
weapon?
seems. No, I don't have that one.
You could try to cast a healing word on Righty, the skeleton, and I don't recommend it.
I
I
think that's probably not worth.
You could spend a bonus
And,
action to commit a blasphemy.
No, I don't think we're going to do that. So everything else takes an action, and she used her action to make a emergency backup sorry and put the emergency backup sorry in front of her so that the emergency backup sorry is the one that gets eaten.
So the emergency
Necessary.
backup sorry is in front.
Yes,
I don't think you understand what backup means.
correct.
You know, I have a history of giving autonomy and sapience to constructs and illusions.
Mhm.
Well, it's sort of her. It's her. It's just this is the her that doesn't have to worry about losing continuity of existence.
Your illusionary story looks back at you and just mouths the word, really?
Sorry gives her evolutionary self a thumbs up.
The illusionary story
got this.
rolls her eyes and turns to face the unspeakable horror.
And that will be all that I can think of to do with Sori at this time.
Utashi,
Just so you know that there are 2 sickening radiance circles there. The one that's higher is the correct one. I accidentally placed it half a square too low. I don't know why it let me do that.
Okay.
Just staying out of both the circles. Stay out of both the circles.
Yeah.
The green circles are bad.
This goes back to something else. Okay.
Yes, yes, it does.
Mhm. Okay, so it's my turn?
The DM really likes the greens.
Concerning.
All right. So if it's my turn, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, okay, so Atashi's going to cast Guiding Bolt at the monstrosity from where she's standing. And I can do it at a higher level if I do it with a 2nd level or higher, but it's only within my 1st level of spells, so I don't know how to make that work.
Give me a second to look at your character sheet.
Yep.
So,
I believe if you click on it, it'll on the dots, it'll ask you what level you're casting it at.
Does?
yes, when you
Yes.
click on the
Hold on.
icon next where it says Guiding Bolt, it'll say cast
Okay.
at level,
Okay,
and you can pick which level you want to use.
I'm going to do a 2nd level, and then I'm going to
Okay.
cast the spell at this monstrosity.
Okay.
So try that. Did it work?
It created
I don't think
a
it worked.
text box in the chat. Go
Oh,
to
there
the
it is.
chat
Okay.
tab,
I just didn't see
and
it.
you can click attack.
Okay. Attack. Okay. Normal?
Normal.
Yes.
Normal. Okay.
Actually,
Ooh,
no, wait.
15.
Wait.
What? Oh, 19.
Click attack again because you are a
Okay.
kobold.
Oh, right.
You have Pack Tactics, the
Pack
name of the
Tactics.
campaign.
I do.
Lefty's
Okay.
right frickin' there.
Okay,
Okay.
that one's a
Well,
14.
Okay.
15.
A 19 and a 14.
Yes, the
Glitter everywhere.
19 would have hit, but I wanted to see if you crit. There was a 5% chance you would
Okay.
have crit.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I always forget that Utashi's the other actual kobold in the game.
Yeah.
Even when you
Biological
all
kobold.
were actual really kobolds, even then we kept forgetting that
forgot.
Pack Tactics was a thing. And they
Mhm.
it in current version, not 1D&D, but current not Unearthed Arcana rules, they have taken Pack Tactics away. But you're all the 2 of you are playing Legacy Kobolds, so you still
Mhm.
have it.
Yep.
So go ahead and click on the damage,
Damage. Okay. Damage.
which is damage right under attack. Same guiding.
Do I hit
bolt.
normal?
Xbox.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, those are shiny.
Those are shiny and very bright. You do 13
Yes.
points of damage.
All right. I did something.
And
Ta-da.
apparently, there was a time in Foundry, I found this out today, when someone could type in a minus, press minus, press enter. Nope. Have to do the math yourself. And subtract it for
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah. I
You're
think
making me
that's
do
it.
math on a Saturday evening. How dare
I
I
know.
decide that this was a fun game to play?
Okay, so Guiding Bolt also is let's see, on hit the target takes 4d6 radiant damage. The next attack roll made against this target before the end of your next turn has advantage.
Will have advantage on
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
but
whoever's next
also-
gets that.
it. Is glittery.
It is glittery.
Yes, because that's what Guiding
Yes.
Bolt does.
Yes, yes.
Now, remember I
It
said
lights
this thing
everywhere.
had crystals embedded all over it.
Well, now it's even shinier. You'll find it real
Yes.
easy.
So actual Sori, not
Uh-huh.
mirror image Sori, might be close enough to that other door to go over to the light switch and turn it off and on again. And then with the glitter shining off of the unspeakable horror, we can start saying boots and pants and boots and pants, boots and pants. The system is down. The system is down.
We are not going
One
to
more
have
time.
disco ball
You
fight
already have
scene.
inspiration, don't you? Yes, you do.
Yes, yes, I do.
Spend your inspiration, people. Roll poorly so you can spend your inspiration, people.
No.
So, the next being to go after Utashi is the unspeakable horror. It
Roll a
attacks itself.
Constitution save.
Oh my.
It attacks itself in order to be able to roll at advantage. No, this is not true.
It needs to beat a 14 on its Constitution saving throw.
Button should do a thing. Not.
No.
So I am going to do a thing differently. I'm going to think different. That's an 18.
Okie dokie.
Does it have any ill effects at all?
I want to double check that.
Extra glitter.
It does not, which is really disappointing. This is a 4th level spell.
Oh wow.
Well, it also
Yes.
affects an area that has a radius of 30.
Yeah.
So this is a hit a lot of baddies at once. It's to get rid of the cannon fodder spell.
Yeah, I hadn't realized that, and I might have made a different decision if I had known that. But yeah, no, it's succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 40-10 radiant damage, and
So-
along with other things.
So I have just measured out a circle that is
Mhm.
roughly 30 feet in diameter. And it looks like it encompasses everyone but actual.
That tracks.
Now I am
We're all going to
trying-
die.
Well, eventually. Except for those of you who become immortal.
You couldn't have rolled a 6.
No, I couldn't have rolled a 6.
It's a good number.
All right. So a wave of perception distorting energy rolls out of this.
Oh, it's one of these.
Every creature within 30 feet needs to make a DC 15 wisdom saving.
Yeah. I didn't remember how to do that.
You know what? I'm spending my inspiration.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Why did
Um,
rolling a wisdom saving throw not?
So it's a D20?
Oh,
That
I
is a
think I
D20,
also
and
want to
then
use
add
my.
your-
I'm also using my inspiration.
And Jen, your wisdom saving throw modifier is plus.
Okay. So +4.
Wait.
And a D20. And I roll it.
That's
The 9. 10. Okay.
all right. Mori needs to roll.
That's obnoxious.
Mori makes it by a lot. Righty needs to. Righty has a wisdom of 8. Righty makes it. Go
So
Righty.
did the shadow spawn.
The Shadow Spawn also made the save.
Yep.
Okay. So, on a failed save, the target takes 22 psychic damage.
Ew.
If you made your save, you take no damage at all. Like hanging
I
out in
know.
the wave pool. You go up, you go back down again, you're fine.
Okay.
Tashi
Someone help
did
with the
not make-
numbers. That's what I thought. Uh-huh.
I will help you.
Okay.
And by help you out,
You're
I mean
at
reduce your hit
41.
points.
41? Okay.
41.
I
41.
have done the math.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So here is the bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Taking 22 points of psychic damage is not the bad news. If you had to take damage because you failed the save, you are deafened until the end of the Unspeakable Horrors next. What?
Okay.
Here's the
Mhm.
worst news. If you
Uh-oh.
failed it by 5 or more, so if you rolled a 10 or less,
Uh-huh.
you are also blinded until
Oh, no.
the end of the Unspeakable
Oh.
Horrors next.
I'm so glad I used my inspiration.
I didn't have any, I
So-
don't think so.
So Deza
Yeah. Mhm.
and Utashi,
No, I
Are-
rolled an 11.
Yeah, I think. Is that right?
well, both
Oh, you
of
used
you
inspiration,
are
right?
deaf.
Yes.
Okay.
You could spend your inspiration to have not taken the damage, or try to roll against not.
I don't know that I have inspiration, though.
You did. You got it today.
I did?
Actually,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, you don't have it. It was.
Yeah, I
Longcap
don't
that
think
got
I
it.
did.
You don't have inspiration.
Mhm.
Longcap did have inspiration, and Longcap also spent. So,
Okay.
which roll was that for?
Concentration.
Ah, okay. I am easily confused. So, and distracted. Utashi and Deza can't hear.
Okay.
Utashi also can't see. Utashi, this is the worst case scenario. You cannot see the sparklies in.
Oh no.
And Longcap also not here?
Correct. Longcap failed, but because of inspiration, did not fail by more than 5.
Okay. So that was
So
the
is it-
thing's turn.
Is it failed by more than 5 or failed by 5 or more?
5 or more.
Okay. Just double checking.
Oh, wait, hold on. I misread something. It doesn't change the damage or the effects. It changes the duration. The way this is worded, it's not the end of the Unspeakable Horror's next turn. It's the end of the target's next. So at the end of your next turn, these bad effects go away.
Okay.
Unless it does it again.
Unless it does it again. This may or may not be an ability that requires a recharge.
Hmm.
Also, it's
We can all hope.
unspeakable and possibly ineffable. Or you don't know what it's going to do next time.
I would have a comment, but you record this and little kids might say it.
It is Mari's turn, as he ignores what was said.
Wise.
Mori casts Zone of Truth. The unspeakable horror must only speak the truth. It speaks the unspeakable, which is not the same thing as what Sori was going to say. Not what happened.
Mari has learned some more useful spells today, hopefully, despite the fact that discovering that her god may actually be a slumming dragon, or dragon with delusions of grandeur, whatever.
Mori is going to cast Cure Wounds, 2nd level, on Utashi,
It was right there.
who happens to be right there.
Mhm.
I really like that it gives me an option for critical hit for casting Cure Wounds. And I rolled very
I mean,
poorly.
you
That
know.
is 6 points of healing.
Okay. I'll put.
So you're up to 47.
Okay, thank you.
Go.
So I can see?
No, you still have to wait until
No,
the end of your
okay.
next turn. But
Okay, that's fine.
you got back some of the hit points you lost from that.
Okay.
It is now Lefty's turn. Lefty still somehow surviving. Every attack from this thing would one-shot Lefty, and Lefty is just like, keep it on, keep it on.
Mhm.
Lefty flashes a thumbs up.
Lefty is a thumbs up.
Exactly.
Lefty is only 1/5 of Lefty. A 17 hits. Io, could you roll the damage for me? I do not know what your skeletal hand does.
It does a normal skeleton, but 3 more.
Okay, so I'll just say 7 then.
Hmm.
I keep double clicking on the Unspeakable Horror to load up his character sheet saying, why isn't it doing anything? Then I realize I
Mhm.
used the pop out mod. So it's
Oh.
taking up my entire other screen.
Okay.
And it's like, it's already open. Why are you trying to open it? Already open.
I believe it is initiative 20 now.
It's initiative 20 now, yeah.
May I?
They saw one.
Asa is going to do some things that look ridiculous on the map.
I'm here for it. Entire map gets covered in green. Spend the next half an hour talking about it.
Oh, this is not what I want to do. I can't stop.
An entire constellation appears around.
Actually, I need to look at this.
Everyone is positioned perfectly, and I am the happiest person in the world.
Did you just step into your own sickening radiance?
No,
Because you're in a square that's half filled with it.
the green squares are where it affects.
See, this is why I like hex maps. But anyway, please continue.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm dragging the shadow spawn with me.
All I heard was, and I'm dragging the shadow spawn with.
I'm
Sorry.
not sure you want to grab the shadow spawn. It will reduce your speed if you start within 5 feet of it.
I have to do it, or it's going to take damage.
You're using Thunderstep.
I'm using Thunderstep,
I suppose you can always drop it after.
So
and
Huh?
no, I'm taking Longkep's shadow spawn with me.
oh. And Lefty's just out of
And-
range.
Lefty is just out of range. Utashi's just out of range. Mori's just out of range. Sori's image is just out of range.
I don't think this image is actually damaged by stuff. Doesn't say
The
anything
creature
about it. It's illusion.
Is not out of range.
Well, no, you came up to say
Okay.
hello.
I
And
did.
because of what you're doing, you're not actually starting your next turn in the Sickening Radiance.
It's
Or is it-
true.
Wait a minute, is Sickening Radiance just
It's-
when you start your turn, or is it start your turn or enter it?
It's start my turn or enter it, but the Sickening Radiance is the green squares.
Okay, well, in any case, that's
And
a
I specifically
DC
chose a
14
non-green square.
That's a DC 14 Constitution saving throw that I have
Constitution save. Yes.
to roll. Plus 7, Crash. Well, that's a mighty 11. It says the Shadow Spawn rolled it. That's not true. It says Shadow Spawn selected.
And that's 27 thunder damage.
It doesn't like that.
I would imagine not.
It is bloodied.
And
Oh.
and now, since Longcap has seen what I wanted to do with my turn, it's Longcap's turn.
Okay, the Shadow Spawn is going to get out of the range where it makes party members slow and back to the range where it keeps the monster from running away if it wanted to run away. Or like rushing in to try to eat more if it wanted to rush in to try to eat more. And
In my headcanon, Longcap looks at this and says, that is not logical placement for the Shadow Spawn.
yeah,
This is not very effective. Killing Rend. Ooh. A 15 hit.
Oh,
that
to
was-
establish this.
I was so close to a 19, though.
It was.
I do not believe
And
the
I-
dice are actually physics-based.
and I believe that hits because it did last time.
Exactly.
Yes.
And this is a multi-attack, so I am...
A 17 hits some more.
And that is 11 more cold damage.
How
And
does
now
the Shadow
Long-
Spawn want to do this? It wasn't going to go this fast, but somebody did 30 points of damage for their first attack.
Hey, I did 27.
Yes, you also did
Yes.
27.
The Shadow Spawn sort of grabs the creature in its weird, cold, ghostly hands and goes whoosh through it like it's incorporeal for a moment.
Okay. It does that. And the unspeakable horror sort of wells up, which is it's in the top 10 of most disturbing things any of you have seen. Okay. For a long kept top 15. Utashi doesn't even see it.
No, blinded, deafened.
Utashi's vision is going to come back in a little bit when time speeds up again because combat's. But in any case,
Right.
Grab
Utashi doesn't
the
even know
vital
what's going
bits in your cold ghost hands. Not that it's technically a ghost, but
Utashi and Deza are spared the ghostly shriek of the Shadow Spawn
Oh. Yeah.
as it tears the innards out of the whatever this is.
if I can yes and, the shriek is that of a small child on a playground, where you're not quite sure if they're enjoying themselves or being brutally murdered.
Ah, indeed.
In this case, it's enjoying itself.
As
But
someone
without the
else is
context.
brutally murdered.
Yes, it is grabbing anything that it thinks is a vital component. Now, there's a lot of components in there, so it's grabbing everything and rearranging things. And it's doing something because the unspeakable horror starts to swell up, and burst is the wrong word because you're not all being covered by unspeakable bits, which is my off-brand Kibbles and Bits brand. It does not sell nearly as well. It sort of crumbles. The doorway is still half blocked, but by a pile of inert parts. Most of it crystal. The second largest amount is bits of rock, and the rest of it is all scraps of metal, the occasional cobalt part. But it's mostly scraps of crystal.
I am in my mind. I have Theo's characters. The next thing they're doing: prestidigitation, 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 prestidigitation.
oh no, Longcup doesn't care.
Oh.
Maybe
Yeah,
mold
that's fair.
earth. Maybe mold earth to clear a path.
Fascinating. That is not what I expected to be inside it.
The inside looks very much like the outside.
Are we out of combat then?
We are now out of
It's
combat.
not
You
or-
can-
Wait,
Okay.
was it not organic? I thought it was organic looking.
The image is organic looking, but it has the unspeakable horror stat block allows for multiple variations. This variation is mostly crystal and rock. It didn't come with multiple artwork.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop the Sickening Radiance, but I don't know how to get rid of the circles.
You have to click on the pencil for drawing tools, and then click the trash can for clear drawings. Yes, that didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't have a trash can.
Right click on the starburst and then click delete.
I don't have
The
Starburst.
Starburst?
I don't.
I don't see.
When you click on measurement controls circle template, there
Oh,
should be a
okay.
starburst in the center.
Oh, sure
Oh.
enough. Sure enough.
Neat.
Welcome to every single Cogwheel Gaming podcast, where
Yeah.
15% by volume is us figuring out how to use Foundry again
Yeah.
for the first time.
Mhm.
Also, I think it would be easier if I could control my own skeletons.
We will have to work on that. The way I added them in couldn't make, but that is something.
At this point, Natasha blinks her eyes and says, "What did I miss?"
Utashi looks over and sees a pile of
Observe.
mostly sparklies.
Oh, sparklies. It was made of sparklies? Ah,
It was a pinata.
what's a pinata?
You hit it and sparklies come out.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
It's good that Longcap said something because Deza was about to launch into the history of pinatas.
Deza's middle name
Oh.
is Verbose. That's not true. They named the dog Verbose.
No.
Deza's middle name is so long that it would take an entire session to recite it. The abbreviated version is verbose. Speaking of Deza, she is going to continue her project of going around the room, writing down any words she sees.
Give me an investigation.
Okie dokie.
With a 22, and I keep paying attention to those bonuses, because every roll that's over 20, I'm like, but was it in that 20?
No, it was not.
By the way, I added more dice configuration. So, with a 22, amongst the wreckage, find part of a notebook.
Oh, neat.
Now, when I say part, I mean there's no page that's intact. Some of it is
Yeah.
doodles. Apparently, the kobold who was writing this, clearly a kobold, because kobots have no reason to write things, tap things. They did have someone who they were interested in romantically, because there's pictures of apparently them and the romantic interest inside a heart. But never mind about that. Some of it's just like facts and figures. There's at least one shopping list: eggs, milk, toothpaste, whatever. But near the back, well, not near the back pages are blue. Near the end of the pages that actually had writing on them, there's just enough information to reveal what that thing probably. A lot of it references previous pages or stuff that's in other books. You don't find the other book. But what you can gather is the plan was to figure out how to turn Elf Armada ships into constructs to fight the Elf Armada. Because the Elf Armada ships were made of a living crystal. So if they made some type of elemental or golem out of that living crystal, the pilots of the Elf Armada ships would literally have nowhere to run.
Well,
Also,
I bet that's fascinating for somebody else. What I'm really interested in is the early parts.
Historian.
courting people.
Archaeologists.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Ancient kobolds had relationships the same way the rest of us did. Ancient kobolds went shopping. Ancient kobolds ate these things.
That's amazing.
Not only did ancient kobolds eat these things, this lab was used to. It was probably one of the labs, not the only. This is a planet we're talking about. But this is one of the labs where some research was put into developing crops that would better thrive in an environment with an always day light situation. Some plants would
That's
dry
really
out
interest-
too long,
That's really useful information.
which is why all that greening was over there. Now that
Hmm.
was part of what was done here, but that seems to have been done before this person got their post here. What was being done here until the invasion started was developing variations of Cobot and Cobot programming that would better be able to care for said planet. Because let's face it,
Fascinating.
you've got an interior surface of a planet that is always daytime. Kobolds are going to prefer to not be outside.
hmm
Mhm.
So that's a Cobot job. Make Cobots that do that better. But that research
Now-
didn't come to fruition because Elf Armada invasion.
Now, Crash, we've been playing for a while,
Yes, we have.
so I'm going to give you an opportunity here, and you can cut out what I have just said and what I am saying now. But I do have one more question.
What'll be really funny is if I cut out what you're about to say, but don't cut out what you've just said.
It's true,
Anyway,
but I think you're going to want to keep it.
say what you're going to say.
What's behind the door on the right?
Storage.
Dang
And
it!
that's where we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you, everyone,
All right.
for playing. Thank you, everyone. We might look through that door tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next game.
Mhm.
We might take a long
In
rest.
2 weeks.
So it'll be tomorrow
By tomorrow,
for you.
by tomorrow we mean in 2 weeks.
And by tomorrow, we mean in 2 weeks, yes. But for the kobolds, it would be tomorrow because who wants to take a long rest?
Oh, I should probably do
Me.
that.
and
think I
and
just
maybe
closed
bring back
everything.
writing.
I think I just closed everything. I'll fix it later if I remember.
It's all good. So,
Okay.
tonight I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Eo, and Jen. Who wants to plug a thing?
Yeah,
Eo's
Mom writes
mom.
book.
Elizabeth-McCoy.com, or ask your local library to check out the ebooks by Elizabeth McCoy and see which ones are really, really cheap because that's probably the ones that are being offered through Overdrive by me.
And speaking of books,
My website is Book of Jen at bookofjen.net, and it's got some book reviews on there. I keep trying to catch up, but haven't yet. There's a lot of Diablo 4 stuff because I've been making videos of it as best I can. Had to learn new software for that. That's a thing. Other than that, there's just whatever else I put on bookofjen.net is just whatever I'm thinking about writing at the time. I also am the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast at shatteredsoulstone.com. New episodes come out every Saturday. There's a whole lot of talk about Diablo 4 in this, thankfully, because we've all been waiting for it for a really long time. And you can find it at, again, shatteredsoulstone.com.
And speaking of
And-
Patreons,
speaking
sorry.
of Patreons,
Who was speaking about Patreons? You keep bringing this up. No one was talking about the way that people can keep the lights on by going to patreon.com/cogwheelgaming and join other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Genshen, Walter, Patron Emeritus. Until next time, this is Crash saying, they want to know what's behind door number 2. Show them what's behind door number 2. Good night,
That's
everyone.
eerie. Night.
good night.
It was absolutely nothing. That's not true.
All right.